If you're here right now, you're looking for one thing: how to make more money, not in 10 years, not eventually, now. So let's cut through the noise. Let's forget the gurus and the get-rich-quick schemes. What I'm about to tell you is the only skill you ever need to make money, no matter the industry, no matter the market, no matter the era. It's the one thing that separates people who win from those who watch from the sidelines. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll have it. You'll have the key. Mastering sales is the #1 money skill because it is the foundation of every transaction that has ever taken place. It doesn't matter if you're a solopreneur running an online shop, a consultant trying to land clients, or an employee hoping to get promoted and make more money. The person who knows how to sell will always have an edge. It's the one skill that separates the people who talk about opportunities from the people who create them. The best ideas don't win, the best salespeople do. Sales is about understanding that people make decisions based on emotion first and justify them with logic later. It's about knowing how to listen, how to ask questions that draw out pain and desire, and how to position your offer as the bridge between where they are and where they want to be. Most people shy away from sales because they're afraid of rejection, or because they've bought into the idea that it's manipulative or pushy. But the truth is, selling is nothing more than a conversation about value. You're identifying a problem and presenting a solution. You're creating an exchange where both parties walk away better off. The biggest breakthroughs happen when you understand that selling is not about you. It's about focusing completely on the person across from you, their needs, their fears, their dreams. The better you understand those, the better you can align your offer to match. Most people fail in sales because they make it about themselves, their quotas, their pitches, their ego. The masters of sales make it about the person in front of them, and that shift creates trust, which is the currency of every successful transaction. Mastering sales means mastering the art of making people feel heard and understood. It means knowing how to frame value, how to create urgency, how to overcome objections, and how to guide someone to a decision that benefits both of you. It's about knowing that no is just feedback, an invitation to adjust your approach, to learn, and to try again. It's also about understanding the math. Sales is a numbers game, and mastery means accepting that every no is bringing you closer to a yes. The person who embraces the process, refines their approach, and doesn't take rejection personally will always win. They understand that every conversation is a data point, an opportunity to learn and evolve. Sales is the foundation for making money because it applies to every area of life. You're selling yourself when you interview for a job. You're selling an idea when you pitch a business. You're selling trust when you ask someone to work with you. Even relationships are built on an exchange of value and trust. The person who can clearly and authentically communicate their value has an unfair advantage in every room they walk into. The best part: sales is a learnable, practicable, and repeatable skill. You don't have to be born with charisma or a silver tongue. You can study it, you can practice it. You can review every conversation, tweak your approach, and hone your abilities until selling feels like second nature. It's a skill that doesn't just make you money, it gives you control. In a world where markets shift, platforms change, and industries evolve, the person who knows how to connect with people and create value will never be irrelevant. They can walk into any room, any industry, any conversation, and create opportunity. That is why mastering sales is the #1 money skill. People pay for solutions, not ideas, and this is the core truth that separates successful entrepreneurs from people with a notebook full of unrealized dreams. An idea can be brilliant, but if it doesn't solve a problem that someone is actually willing to pay for, it's worthless. The marketplace doesn't reward cleverness or originality just for its own sake. It rewards clarity and results. It rewards the person who can spot a gap in someone's life, business, or emotional state and fill it with a solution that makes things better. Too many people spend too much time falling in love with their ideas, nurturing them like delicate flowers, but never asking the hard questions about who needs it, why, and what it's worth. A solution doesn't have to be revolutionary. It doesn't have to invent a new category or break a paradigm. Sometimes it's just doing something better, faster, or more reliably than the alternatives available. Sometimes it's making something that already exists accessible, affordable, or tailored for a specific group of people. The marketplace doesn't measure ideas by how novel they are. It measures them by the results they produce for the person who's paying. An idea that doesn't address a concrete problem doesn't matter, because no one has any reason to trade their money for it. This is why so many hopeful entrepreneurs fail. They build for themselves, assuming that what excites them will excite others, instead of focusing outward, going to the source, and listening to real pain points. The people making money aren't guessing at what the market needs. They're finding out. They ask questions, they observe, and they listen more than they talk. They understand that every person making a purchasing decision is doing a simple internal calculation. Will this make my life better? Will this save me time? Will this save or make me money? Will this solve a problem that I can't solve easily on my own? People don't care about how much work you put into creating your idea. They don't care about how passionate you are about your idea. They care about the results your idea can give them. The most successful entrepreneurs detach their ego from their ideas. They test quickly, adapt, and iterate until what they have is not just an idea, but a concrete solution that people can understand and justify paying for. The biggest breakthroughs happen when you shift your focus from what do I want to build to what do people want, what problem can I solve. Suddenly, you're no longer relying on guessing, hoping, or trying to force a square peg into a round hole. You're aligning with a need that already exists, making the path to a sale almost inevitable. Mastering this mindset doesn't mean you can't be creative. It means directing that creativity towards making a solution undeniable. It means understanding that every successful business, every successful offer, every successful service rests on one thing: making someone's life or work better, making it cheaper, making it faster, making it simpler, making it more enjoyable. The best ideas evolve into solutions that people can't live without because they were built with the person's needs as the starting point. This is why people pay for solutions, not ideas. The market doesn't owe you its attention, its money, or its loyalty. You have to earn it by providing value. You have to prove every time that what you're offering can transform an obstacle, remove a pain, or create an outcome that people genuinely desire. Stop seeking permission, just sell. This is the shift that separates entrepreneurs from dreamers. Too many people wait for a sign, for an external nod of approval, or for some magical moment when the stars align and it suddenly feels safe to ask for the sale. They wait for permission from mentors, friends, family, or an imaginary gatekeeper in their own head. Meanwhile, the people who win don't wait. They understand that no one is going to hand them a green light to create a future they want. They take it, they move first, they make the offer, and they adjust based on how the world responds. Most people fear selling because it feels like imposing. They attach too much ego to the moment. Will this person reject me? Will they judge me? Will I be bothering them? Those thoughts are a trap. The person making an offer isn't a beggar. The person making an offer is providing an opportunity for value to change hands. Someone out there has a problem and you have a solution. The second you understand this, you recognize that making an offer is an act of service. It's not about extracting value. It's about creating an exchange where both sides win. You aren't forcing anyone to say yes. You're creating a space where a yes can happen. Stop asking for permission and start making offers. Put your service in the market. Put your product in people's hands. Put your ideas out where they can be tested. The worst thing that can happen is no. And a no is just information. It tells you that something in your offer needs to evolve, or that you're talking to the wrong person. The best entrepreneurs don't internalize rejection as a judgment on themselves. They treat it as feedback. Every no is a step closer to a yes. Every no is a piece of data that can be used to make the offer sharper, stronger, more compelling. Permission seeking is rooted in the belief that someone else needs to validate your worth. Selling is rooted in the belief that your worth is proven by creating value. The moment you stop relying on external permission is the moment you tap into a higher level of control over your outcomes. You don't wait for a go-ahead because you recognize that every successful person started by making a bold move before anyone said it was okay. This doesn't mean being reckless or ignoring boundaries. It means understanding that hesitation kills momentum, and momentum is what separates successful ventures from forgotten ideas. The best entrepreneurs build and launch, build and launch, build and launch, making micro improvements with every iteration. They accept that a mediocre offer made now beats a perfect offer never made at all. Stop seeing selling as a favor you're asking for and start seeing it as an invitation you're extending. The person with the problem doesn't benefit from your silence. They benefit when you step up and put a solution in their hands. The person with the solution doesn't win by wishing someone would notice. They win by putting it in front of people, making the offer, and accepting the outcomes win, lose, or learn. Stop seeking permission. The marketplace doesn't owe you a chance. You create one by acting first, acting boldly, acting with conviction, and acting regardless of how many people doubt you. The ability to make an offer and stand behind it is the foundation for making money, gaining trust, and gaining the freedom that so many claim to want, but too few have the courage to pursue. Focus on value, not features. This is one of the biggest shifts you can make if you want to stand out in a crowded market. Too many people get lost in describing the details of what they're offering, the specs, the ingredients, the hours of effort that went into making it, and forget the only thing that actually matters to the person making a buying decision. What's in it for me? People don't buy features. They don't walk into a store or click buy online because a gadget has a certain number of megapixels or a piece of software uses a certain coding language. They buy because those features have been translated into benefits. They buy because those benefits solve a problem, create a result, or tap into an emotion they care about. If you're trying to sell a service, an app, a gadget, or an idea, your job is not to overwhelm the person across from you with technical details. Your job is to connect the dots between what you've created and how it impacts their life. You have to ask yourself, why should they care? What does this save them? What does this give them? What pain does this remove? What dream does this enable? You have to become fluent in speaking their language, focusing on outcomes and benefits, making it easy for them to justify why this solution is worth their time, money, and attention. The best sellers don't spend time listing specifications. They tell a story, they paint a picture, they don't say, this phone has a 12-megapixel camera. They say, capture moments in crisp detail so you can relive memories for years to come. They don't say, my program has 10 video lessons. They say, master the skills that can double your income and save years of trial and error. The person making a buying decision doesn't walk away repeating specifications. They walk away repeating feelings of relief, of possibility, of status, of belonging. This doesn't mean the details don't matter. They do, but only in service of supporting the story of value. Features are proof. Value is the hook. You can have the best technology in the world, but if you can't make someone feel how it improves their life, it will never matter. The person making a purchase is making an emotional decision first and looking for rational reasons to justify it second. Focus your message accordingly. It's also worth understanding that value is relative. What one person finds valuable might be irrelevant to someone else. The more clearly you understand your ideal customer, their pains, their aspirations, their context, the more precisely you can match your offer to the outcomes they seek. The person making the sale doesn't just memorize a feature list. They inhabit the role of a translator between a solution and the person searching for it. They listen deeply, learn quickly, and connect the right benefit to the right person every time. People don't remember features, they remember feelings. They remember how you made them feel seen, heard, or understood. They remember the sense of progress, belonging, or relief your solution gave them. The best entrepreneurs, the best salespeople, the best marketers regardless of industry internalize this one lesson above all. People don't buy things, they buy results. They don't buy specs, they buy stories. They don't buy features, they buy value. The more you make it about them, the more they will make it about you. Repetition builds trust and wealth. This is the overlooked truth behind every brand that lasts, every entrepreneur that scales, every salesperson that closes deal after deal. The world doesn't reward you for making a strong impression once. It rewards you for making that impression consistently, reliably, every time someone encounters you or your offer. People don't just buy because of how compelling your message is in a single moment. They buy because of how familiar and trustworthy it feels after seeing it, hearing it, or experiencing it repeatedly. Trust is built through repetition. It's built when your name, your face, your offer, your value appears in the right context, time and time again, until it becomes a part of someone's mental landscape. Humans are hardwired to trust what is familiar. What is repeated doesn't feel like an interruption anymore. It feels like a constant. The more often people see and recognize you, the more comfortable they become accepting your offer, aligning with your message, and making a decision in your favor. That's why the biggest brands advertise constantly, regardless of how well known they already are. It's why successful entrepreneurs post daily, send regular emails, and continue making their offers long after the initial launch. They understand that every interaction is a seed, every repetition is another layer of soil, and every person needs different amounts of exposure before they're ready to say yes. The person who doesn't respond to your first offer may respond to your 5th, 10th, or 20th. The person who scrolls past one post may save the next one and come back later. Repetition doesn't just build trust. It refines your own abilities as well. The more times you make an offer, the better you understand how to make it compelling. The more times you tell a story, the more confident you become in its delivery. The more times you engage with a customer, the more insight you gain about their pain points, their language, and their objections. Repetition is how ideas evolve into precision tools that cut through noise. Wealth is built through repetition because it compounds. Every piece of content you create, every conversation you have, every offer you make, doesn't stand alone, it builds on all the others. The person who sees your post today may recognize your name when you launch your next offer. The person who says no to one service may be a yes for another down the line, simply because they recognize and trust your brand. The sale that didn't happen today can happen tomorrow because your consistency has kept you relevant. Repetition doesn't mean being a robot or repeating the same words endlessly. It means showing up with the same core message, the same core value, in 100 different ways. It means refining that message until it resonates across moments, platforms, and conversations. The best entrepreneurs understand that every repetition is an investment. Every follow-up email, every piece of content, every phone call, every conversation plants a seed. The more seeds you plant, the more likely it is that one will take root and bear fruit. Trust is earned over time. Wealth is built from trust, and trust is built from showing up, saying the same thing, doing the same thing, and delivering the same value until it becomes a fact, a symbol, a brand. It's not about making the biggest noise once. It's about making the right noise repeatedly until people don't just recognize you, they remember you, believe in you, and bet on you. Speed of execution beats perfection every time. In a world where ideas are abundant, where strategies can be copied, and where information is available at the click of a button. The person who acts quickly has an unfair advantage. Most people get stuck in planning mode, trying to make every piece perfect, trying to anticipate every objection, trying to have every question answered before they ever launch, publish, or sell. Meanwhile, the person who wins doesn't wait for the stars to align. They move, they build, they launch, they test, they learn, they adapt. The harsh reality is that perfection is an illusion. The moment you try to make every piece of a project flawless, you give yourself a reason to delay, a reason to stay comfortable, a reason to stay hidden. The market doesn't reward people with the best ideas or the best intentions. It rewards people who are brave enough to put their ideas out into the world and evolve them based on feedback. It doesn't matter how brilliant the concept is in theory if it never meets the harsh light of reality. It will never evolve, never gain traction, and never make money. Speed of execution is about accepting that every first version of an idea will be rough. It will have flaws, it will have gaps, it will have room for improvement. The point is to get it in the hands of people, get real feedback, and then make it better. The person who acts quickly gains data. They gain experience. They gain clarity about what works and what doesn't. The person who waits for perfection gains nothing except more reasons to wait. The biggest winners in any space understand that momentum is a force multiplier. Every action you take creates a result, and every result, no matter how imperfect, gives you information. The person making 10 attempts will always beat the person making one, because 10 attempts means 10 lessons learned, 10 connections made, 10 opportunities for growth. Speed doesn't just beat perfection, it creates the pathway to perfection. You can't refine something that doesn't exist. You can't make a process more efficient until you've tried it. You can't understand a customer until you've engaged with one. Moving quickly also creates a psychological shift within yourself. You build confidence. You learn to trust your ability to adapt. You learn that every problem has a solution, every mistake has a lesson, every setback has a comeback. This is how entrepreneurs evolve from hopeful thinkers into seasoned doers. Action rewires the brain, action kills doubt. Action replaces fear with evidence. The marketplace doesn't reward hesitation. The person making an offer is in a conversation with reality, responding to it, adapting to it, gaining strength from it. The person still refining a theory is talking to themselves, hoping the world will wait until they're ready. The world doesn't wait. The people you want to help, the clients you want to win, the opportunities you want to claim, they belong to those who have the courage to step out first, to adjust along the way, to accept imperfection as part of the process. Speed of execution is how you compound experience. It's how you turn ideas into revenue. It's how you make a name for yourself in a world that doesn't reward potential, only results. The best entrepreneurs, the best leaders, the best salespeople aren't the ones with the best ideas. They're the ones with the best execution. They move first, learn fast, adapt relentlessly, and win because of it.